All right, everyone. Welcome to session 2 of DudaCon 2025. This is productivity systems that actually scale. We've got a couple agency leaders who've reduced bottlenecks, improved collaboration, and are managing some high-value builds without the burnout. And that's the key, right? Anyone can do 80 hours of work in a week. It's can you do 40 hours of work a week or maybe even less and still maintain a good, profitable business? So we've got a couple guests here today that I'm going to introduce to, and then I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves. We've got Sandy at Vendasta. She's currently aligning over 200 Vendastians, which is the first time I've ever heard that word, across sales, operations, customer success, managed, and professional services. If you guys don't know what Vendasta is, they are a wonderful tech company that supports the agency space. So Sandy, how are you doing today? Introduce yourself and let us know what you're going to be talking about.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. I'm going to just share some internal ways that we're using AI to help with our own internal process, as well as ways that we've helped a couple of our clients and use a case study.
Excellent. Thank you. Next up, we've got Tina, and she is the COO, Chief Operating Officer at a company called WebSmart. She's also a panelist, and she's in Germany today, which, by the way, guys, if you're watching this, drop a comment of where you're tuning in from. I love to see the globalization of the Duda community, so I'd love to see where you guys are. And Tina oversees scalable website production for small businesses at WebSmart for over 10 years. Tina, how are you doing today? And go ahead and introduce yourself. Tina, I'm going to come back to you. Alex, we're going to go to you. We'll go back to Tina. I think she may be having some technical difficulties over there, but we're going to introduce you to Alex. He is the founder of Crowd Digital Marketing based in Denver, Colorado. Alex built Crowd Digital Marketing, a certified Duda agency from scratch after early roles at startups. Since 2017, he's led his virtual team, completely remote, to deliver reliable, responsive, and results-driven websites. And I personally follow him on LinkedIn, and I like everything that he posts. He's doing some wonderful things in the nonprofit space as well. And he's also on the board of Veterans to Farmers. So, Alex, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know what you're going to be working on today.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction. I appreciate it. And you've been killing it during this whole day today. So thanks for hosting us all. It's been fun watching, and I've been learning a lot personally. So I'm excited to be here. But I founded Crowd Digital Marketing 7 going on 8 years ago. We are a web building agency. We primarily work on the Duda platform, and we're all virtual. So we're mostly based in Denver, Colorado, but I'm in the office right now, and I'm the only one that's really ever in our office. It's mostly just a client meeting space. And today I'm going to be talking about managing a virtual team, how we keep everyone aligned, what tools we use for that, how we keep clear workflows so that we stay on track and stay on deadline and create positive results for our clients. And we talk about a client-first delivery method. So what does that mean to make something that serves the client and that they are proud of?
I love that. All great topics. If you are an agency that is looking to generate more money, obviously that's the goal of why you got into business. And so I'm excited to hear about that information. When Tina joins us back, I'll have her introduce herself. So I might interrupt you guys if you're within your presentation during that time so she can get her introduction in as well. But I don't see why we wait anymore. Let's get right into the content. Sandy, we can start with your AI-powered operations. Oh, before you do so, Tina, can you hear us? No? When we can hear you, you'll come on. You'll do the introduction then, okay? So Sandy, go ahead and get started on your AI-powered operations.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. It's a pleasure. Always enjoy being part of DudaCon and with our friends from Duda. But we obviously, I think we're all together in this. This is a technological revolution. This is something that is definitely probably the most advanced that we're going to see technology thrive and grow within our lifetime. And the impact of this is so significant that it's at least as much as the Industrial Revolution was. And so it's really exciting to be here during this time and to be doing business in this. And so today I just want to focus on our own dog fooding, which is basically what we develop, we use, and show you a case study from one of our partners as well. So both an internal as well as an external. So next slide. And one of the things that I'm overseeing is we have a manage and professional services team, and this is really, it's a do it for me team. And Vendasta offers software, as we mentioned in the intro, we offer software for a local business, but we do that through channel partners. So it's the technology that they need to run a local business. And so we're doing that through our channel partners. And so we work with a lot of agencies. And we offer a white label solution so that with all the things you have to do for that local business, with all the onboarding to get their websites and their social and reputation and ads and everything that they need, and be able to do that through our channel partners. So we offer this white label solution, this managed and professional services team, where we're calling on behalf of that agency. And so what's happening is Vendasta is creating all of our AI employees to provide these services. And so a lot of the things that we do on behalf of the managed service team is now enabled for our agencies to do with just literally an AI agent doing it for them. So content creation or even websites through Duda. And Clayton Christensen is somebody I really follow. And that's why I put the Eat Your Own Young on there, which is he really studied a lot of industries, and I came from the publishing industry. And the suck of the core and eating your own young is the concept where sometimes businesses find it really hard to give up their legacy core business. And so that's the suck of the core that's preventing you from moving on to the future. And so many publishers are examples of those that have transitioned to the new digital world and being able to offer digital and now making that transition into AI solutions. And so being able to look at that we're all in the same boat and that we need to eat our own young. And so this managed services team needs to go to the next level. How do we support a do-it-yourself in a world where an agency now, it's very easy to do the things that we were doing from managed services. So I'm going to give an example of what we've done on the next slide. So that used to be tasks that we were looking for this team, and our metrics were very much quantity driven. How many words did we write? How many number of social posts were we created? How many websites? And there was always a time element as part of this. And so what we've transitioned to is not the work, not the content, not the website, because heck, with Duda, I mean, literally we were able to go from days to produce websites to 2 hours. And that's a deliverable that we use today, is being able to try and do same day deliverable when at all possible. And so now with AI, we are able to look at the quantity component as being there, but the quality of what we're doing being engagement metrics. So what's the performance of those words that are written in a blog post or a social post? What are the likes, the shares, the comments? What's the traffic? What's the bounce rate? What are the form fills, the leads, the SEO and GEO that our websites are enabled with? And so the list goes on, but I thought those were good examples of how we've transformed not just the work we're doing, but also the jobs, the titles that we hire for, and the positions that we have that have all changed based on AI and the deliverables of what our own expectations are, which are now outcome based on performance KPIs as opposed to quantity and time based KPIs, because AI has just made everything move very quickly. And so next slide, please. This is just something this is a recent source, and this is that 73% of consumers, they want everything immediately. And so they would rather have a chatbot and avoid a phone call. And I think we understand why. On the next slide, local businesses are busy providing, and they're not able to do information. I mean, Joe the plumber always gets he gets the most publicity in all of our examples, but Joe the plumber is under a sink and he's not able to provide information for people coming to the website or people trying to call him. And so consumers prefer a faster AI response over waiting for a human 61% of the time. And a third of them are going straight to a competitor if an SMB doesn't respond. And so one of our largest customers at Vendasta is also happens to be the largest in the world for a home franchise company, and they're called Neighborly. And I'm going to give you a case study about them. But their CEO calls something corporate crime. But Neighborly, they have over 17 brands in North America and about 3,200 franchisees with us on our platform, Molly Maid, Dryer Vent, Mr. Rooter, Mosquito Joe. Those are some of those. So I'll tell you what their CEO, Mike Davis, calls corporate crime on the next slide. He calls corporate crime the fact that they're doing all this marketing and they have all these brands that they're promoting, and over 30% of their leads are not being contacted. And that goes back to something that we have seen as an industry standard. That is pretty normal for just about globally. We're seeing about a third of phone calls being unanswered. And so a solution, they chose us as their vendor, and they use us from beginning to end for each of their brands to have this customer journey being automated. And I'll show you the results of that. But basically, we've been able to put on our websites the ability to capture the leads. So it's not just a click and who's going to your website and looking at traffic, but who is it? And so the AI lead capture, and careful not to call it a web chat because it's way beyond that, has been a tremendous boost to what they're seeing as results. And so the last slide I'm just sharing with permission is the number of unique conversations that we've seen. And this has been deployed since sometime in Q1. So we've got over 36,000 conversations. That led to 18,000 leads, which is just about a 50% conversion. It's actually just slightly over that. And of those, 12,000 ended up being scheduled appointments, and over 3,000 of those converted to actual revenue. So that's 19% of all leads converted to a sale. And that was done, and if you look at year over year, that's 372% increase in the number of leads converted to revenue compared to what they were seeing before all the automations that we put in. An example that I'll use is Molly Maid, which is their cleaning service company. Many of you might have used them before. So if you go to any of their Molly Maid websites and use their chat bot, the chat is trained to ask for the number of bedrooms, the number of baths, and it gives you an estimate right there. And so you are able to book and agree to the service. And so the next communication is with the actual person providing the service, showing up at your door. And so you've gone from the process of hands-free throughout the entire thing, including payment, other than the person providing the service. And it's been a tremendous boost to their franchisees in terms of how we're handling it. Just one example and case study, but it's a good example of how AI has changed the customer journey and being able to provide that for one of the largest franchisees. So I feel like I tried to go fast to give everybody time, but any questions, I'll look in the comments and answer those later.
Yeah, Sandy, I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
And feel free to share as much as you feel like you can share. So I have some pretty direct questions here.
Okay.
Seems like the AI agent approach that you talked about a little bit earlier, relationships is not something that an AI agent can build yet. And so really that's the value of our last session. We talked a lot about how relationships is your best intellectual property. The Corey Quinn, which was the chief marketing officer at Scorpion, they've also worked with Neighborly. I know a ton of other agencies that have worked with Neighborly.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in what you said. The consumers prefer a faster AI response, even though it's not a human being.
Yeah.
Is there a tool that you could recommend that does that? I know Molly Maids is using Broadly. Is this a Vendasta product, or is there a specific tool that you recommend?
That is proprietary to Vendasta. Broadly is Vendasta. And I'd have to argue that I think it's come so far in just a matter of months. So when I can show you, because all of the chats are recorded both in a voice and a receptionist there, as well as the communication in the chat, you will see people, it's very personalized. And so each of the chats has a persona, and it's relatable to whatever that franchisee is. And with 17 different franchisees just in Neighborly, you will see a variety of different types of personas that we've developed. But I can show you for agencies that are using it for themselves on their own websites, how they have people calling in and they're just like, but wait, I want to talk to Sandy. I want to talk to Alex. And we're like, Sandy's not real. Like, it's a made up person. And we actually have we've developed an agent that's a sales development rep. And same thing, people are like, hey, I really want Spencer. What's going on? And so it's amazing what people will share too. And you're kind of like, do they understand that this isn't real? But anyway, so I think it's come so far that I would tell you that, we are not finding people saying, hey, I want to talk to somebody. And if they do, you can intercept that conversation at any point, and the local business can jump in.
Now, let me ask you another question. You said that Broadly was a proprietary service that Vendasta owns. I'm on the website right now. Like, is this something that someone can sign up for and use in their business today?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And
I'd be happy to help you.
And is that the AI feature that you're using on Molly Maids? Is that included in that like package with Broadly, or is that a different service?
We have, there's a subscription service, and we have one that's Inbox Pro that includes our AI agents but I'd be happy to walk anybody through pricing on anything.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I've been calling businesses and I've been hearing more and more use them. And I'm sure Alex has experiences too when we get into his presentation. More people are excited. They're emailing us. They're saying, this is going to be answering the phone. It's $300 a month, but I don't have to hire this person anymore, or maybe they're a backup. So it's incredible to see this working. My next question. Oh, go ahead, Sandy.
Sorry. I was just going to say that Lisa on your previous one was talking about different languages and skill set. I mean, think about hiring an employee and they're trained 24/7. They never complain. They never get upset. They can if you want them to, but we train ours usually not to for most of our clients, and speak any language. I mean, it's amazing what is available today as somebody working for you. And so we challenge all our teams, look internally at every job we're doing at a repetitive base and find a way to automate that through one of our AI agents.
Mm-hmm. You talked about AI agents before, and you mentioned words written, social posts, websites, listings, ad impressions, etc. There was something that you put there. It said new AI employee setup. Can you just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So part of our managed services team will go in and not only set up your AI agent for you, but also link that it's automatically linked to our CRM, which is a proprietary CRM. But if you had a different CRM or you have a different calendar system than ours, and a lot of franchisees or verticals have specific calendar booking systems that they want to use. And so we'll help you with getting all of that set up, in addition to customizing any looks if you want a certain persona, like I've described before, logos, colors, anything that you want to incorporate in the actual, and then the knowledge center itself. So what do you want it trained on and what don't you want it trained on? And that's really important, so that you aren't divulging information publicly that you don't want. And so just helping with how it should respond to things, most common FAQs, things like that you can put in there. Makes sense. We do all that.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, great. Yeah. So I think, Sandy, thank you so much for the information. At this point, Alex, we're going to move on to you. And you're talking about operating a virtual Duda agency with clear workflows and client-first delivery. But before we get into that, just curious, Sandy, do you go into the office, or are you guys completely remote as well?
I am remote, but we are office first. And so I travel around. I have teams all over. So Saskatoon is our headquarters. We have a team in Boca Raton, Florida, which is I'm across the state from there. And we have a team in Chennai, India. And then we have a European team. So I'm on the road a lot.
Nice. All right, Alex, hit it off.
Thank you. And Sandy, I saw a comment in our chat here to promote Sandy and Spencer, and I think that sounds like a great idea. But
the virtual version.
Yes, the virtual version.
Thank you, Gutter Systems.
Yes. I'm going to be talking about operating a virtual agency. As I mentioned, we're based in Denver, Colorado. Most of our team members are based here. We've got a developer overseas and some designers that live elsewhere, but we are all completely virtual. We all work from our homes. I work from my office just so we have a place for clients to come visit. But we coordinate everything that we do virtually. And today I'm going to talk about how we do that. We manage a little bit over 160 active websites. We also do digital marketing, digital advertising, that kind of thing as well. But our bread and butter really is web design, website production, and website management, thinking from a recurring revenue basis, which is really important for us. And we're going to go over virtual team, how that works, how we're structured, how we have clear workflows, especially when we're not all together in an office. And we're going to talk again about that client first delivery. So what does it mean to deliver a product that is client first? Again, fully remote, fully virtual agency, though we're headquartered in Denver. All of our team members are virtual, and we have a pretty simple agency setup. We have account managers, content managers, designers, and developers. Our account managers are interfacing with clients day to day. Our content managers are writing the words in blog posts and social posts and content for the website, both handwritten, and we use some of those AI tools as well. Our designers are taking this built out website that has content on it, and they're making it more attractive. And our developers are creating content that custom widgets and custom developments, features and functionality beyond what is out of the box on Duda. So thinking about how we keep our crowd aligned, the first is agency hours of operation. And these days, a lot of agencies are leaning into kind of this flexible work schedule model. We are a little more rigid on when we work. So we work 8 to 6 Monday through Thursday. So the team gets a nice 3-day weekend every week, which is great. But they also work long hours Monday through Thursday. So it's a cool opportunity for them. But at 8 a.m. every morning, we are starting our day with an internal meeting. And we're discussing what was accomplished yesterday, what are our goals for today, who are our active clients, and what do we have going on. And that prepares us all to stay coordinated and aligned. The other reason that we have those 8 to 6 hours is if someone needs to communicate with someone else, we know that they're going to be there. They're not, off at the beach or whatever. They might be working from the cafe, but they're able to communicate and chat and have a Google Meet or a conversation. All of the work that we do starts with the briefing process. And though this happens with the client, it's really important in keeping all of our team members aligned in the work that we're doing. And in the next slide, I'll go a little bit more into our briefing process and how that goes. But the goal of this is to come up with all of our objectives, understand where our content is coming from, whether it's client written, AI written by our team, and what are the goals, whether it's a website or a digital marketing campaign, what are the goals and objectives and the results that we're hoping to get from this project. We have clear website design and QA workflows. So let's say we sign on a new client today and we have what we call our kickoff call. We are going to then create a bucket of tasks. And we often use monday.com. You can see a screenshot of just our dashboard on monday.com on the right. But what I like about a software like this is it allows us to create templates and for tasks. So if we have a new website design, from a technical perspective, we're kind of doing the same thing for our each website. Does the content change? Does the SEO optimization change? Do the photos and calls to action change? Yes, they do, but it's all built in within a specific structure of tasks. So having those tasks laid out, not just as options, things to check off a list, but with clear deadlines and timelines for those, keeps us on track, make sure that our client gets that deliverable that again, we'll kind of go into the next slide. They get that deliverable on time and on schedule and in a way that they're happy with. We use Duda and its permissions opportunities to give our team members the specific permissions that they need. So account managers are obviously going to have things like stats and analytics so that they can look at and review those with clients. Content managers are going to have options for making edits to the website, doing all of the content things they need to do, dynamic pages, external collections, all that kind of thing. Designers is going to be a little bit more high level, being able to move around content. They're not writing words, but they are making them look good and flow well on the site. And then our developers need access to things like the widget builder, HTML, CSS, so that they can make the changes that they need to make the website function the way that it needs to function. Part of the reason we limit the access, really, it's just to make sure that people have the access that they need, but the dashboard, not that it's cluttered, but it doesn't get cluttered up with things that they do not need. And we'll talk about this later too, but we also provide very specific permissions-based access to our clients. So again, they have the things that they need, but not the things that they don't. For task management, again, we use that monday.com. So you can see that on the right. We use buckets of tasks sorted by client, sorted by project, so that we can track the progress of projects based on deadlines and look at them testing against our deadlines, making sure that we've got plenty of time to complete before that first draft is presented to the client. And then for internal collaboration, we use a handful of tools. The first tool that I use all the time, and we use it internally, we also use it with our clients, but that Duda site comments feature. The reason that I like that more than emailing back and forth or working off a Google Doc is when you're giving feedback, sometimes it's very specific on a very certain portion of the website. And that feedback, if you read the sentence, it could apply to a lot of things. So it's nice to know not just the feedback, but where is that feedback on the website taking place, so that we can quickly take action on it. We can reply with a question, or we can resolve that comment. We use Google Docs and Google Drive for a lot of things. One reason that I like using Google Drive is if we have a folder with photos in it, we can very easily just automatically import those into our Duda site editor. So if we can encourage our clients to share photos with us via Google Drive, we can then take those without downloading them onto all of our computers, take them and get them into our site editor and our servers over there. We use Google Docs for our brief. So when we have the briefing conversation with the client, that's formulated. Sometimes we do use ChatGPT to clean that up and create actionable items, but then we turn that into a Google Drive doc, and that allows us to collaborate internally, add comments where we're not sure about things, add screenshots, reply and resolve comments if questions or issues or anything else comes up. When we're thinking about a client-first delivery, what we're thinking about is coming up with a product that makes the client happy and accomplishes their goals. We work with all sorts of clients. We work with brick and mortar stores and e-commerce stores and political campaigns and clients, nonprofits. We work with local service-based businesses. And each of these clients has goals for their website, content goals and aesthetic goals. But probably most importantly is they have results goals. And those results could be sales. They could be form fills. They could be picking up the phone and calling them. But the most important thing is that we have every website optimized for their specific goals. And that is something that we talk about in our client briefing process and questionnaire. Before what we call our kickoff call takes place, we'll send an email, a light email that goes over our priorities and goals for their website or for their digital marketing campaign. We want to understand their priorities, any assets that they're going to want to get onto the website, all of that stuff. And though we don't expect them to have all of the answers when they get to the kickoff call, this at least prepares them, gets their gears turning about what are the things that I'm going to be discussing. So during that call, this is the first page of many pages. And depending on the client, we may skip or add questions to this, but we've got kind of a general playbook that we use for each client to make sure that we're not missing a beat as far as the information that we need to learn from them and get on their website or get on their digital campaign. Once that's done, we again formulate that into a brief and we come up with clear deadlines and milestones. These are both internal and external. So my team needs to get the copy done by X date so that we can move on to the next step of the process. So we've got content building, we're putting photos and images in the site. We've got a design portion where we are making the site look good and feel very professional. And then we have, sometimes we have this, sometimes we don't, a development process where we're building out extra functionality on a website so that it can perform tasks beyond a basic Duda widget. These deadlines, or at least from a high level, are shared with the client because they're going to want to know, when is our first draft call? When are we going to see a draft? When are we going to see a review? And throughout this whole process, we're keeping them updated on how we're accomplishing those tasks via cadenced client communication. And this is something we sort out with the client during the kickoff call. How often do you want to hear from us? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it biweekly? Is it quarterly? Is it, I don't want to hear anything till the kickoff call? And we make sure that we're accomplishing those reach outs. Typically it's via email. Sometimes it's via a Google Meet or a phone call, but we're keeping them abreast of all of the things that are happening behind the scenes in their website so they know we're going to be on deadline when it's time for that first feedback call. During our feedback call, we run through our preview of the website, and it's been optimized for desktop, for mobile, for tablet. By this point, they're search engine optimized. They've got all the developmental functionality that they need to have for a launch. And this is a client's opportunity to hear from us why we made the design or development or content choices that we made. Because when you think about a website, there's a lot of ways to skin that cat. But if we're thinking about search engine optimization or optimizing for conversions or getting specific results from a website, it's nice to be able to have some context and explanation behind the choices that we made from a design or content perspective. So we review those and present that information, those ideas to the client. We give them an opportunity to give us some feedback. And typically there's some feedback in that call, but then we also create a specific client feedback deadline. And out of all of our deadlines, this is the most flexible deadline because it's on the client at this point. And they understand that the longer it takes them to deliver us feedback, the longer it's going to take us to clean it up, finalize it, and get a finished product. But it can be 2 weeks, could be 4 weeks, depending on how many stakeholders are involved. It could be more time than that. But by the end of this deadline, we're hoping to either have an email list or a Google list of the things we want, or more optimally have a call to discuss these things so we can follow up and ask questions. A lot of times they're simple changes that we can take care of on the fly, which always impresses clients when they see their editor refreshed and all of the changes are made. But so that feedback deadline and the feedback loop is really important in coming up with a website that accomplishes their goals, but also makes them feel like they were heard and that their vision, their needs, their goals were all addressed. So now we've got this website, it's ready to launch. How do we get it up, and how do we get it up efficiently? And the first thing to think about is account and registrar access. So depending on the complexity of the site, they may have third-party integrations. They're definitely going to want Google Analytics and similar tools. And if they have an existing URL or an existing website, we're going to need access to that domain so that we can put in the proper DNS records and get that thing launched. These are questions that we ask during that kickoff call. We try to get access during that kickoff call. More often than not, it's a to-do for the client to get us access for those because they don't always have those passwords sitting around, especially if there's a lot of players on the team or a lot of stakeholders. All these things might be in different places. But by the time it's time to launch the website, we have access to their registrar, to their Google Analytics account, and to any third-party tools that we need to embed or integrate, and those are all ready to roll. We connect those at launch, and really when I'm talking about connecting them, Duda makes it really easy to add a Google Analytics account. So that's totally something that we can do last minute. The registrar needs to be done at the last minute so the website doesn't replace their other website early or go live too early. But now we've got our website up. Our DNS records are pointing. Typically when we launch a Duda site, it's up very quickly, definitely the same day. SSLs are up, live, all that. And this is where we start our ongoing support. And we like to do this from a structured standpoint. So the same way that we have a cadence with our touch points during the build process, we have a cadence during our ongoing support. And again, depending on the client, it can be a different cadence. It might be monthly, it might be bi-weekly. We have clients that like to meet quarterly, but the goal of this is twofold. One, to check in on updates, what needs to be changed, what are we looking forward to so that we can make our website dynamic and not just static. And the other thing too is, what have we accomplished? Your key goals that you're looking for were sales, or were phone calls, or were form fills, and how are we doing there? This is a great time to review the analytics platform within Duda, or perhaps use Google Analytics. But this is a time for us to review results looking back and what are our goals looking forward for the website. We give all of our clients editor access in some capacity. And some of our clients have full access to everything. Some of them have access to only one or two tools. And again, this is a function of what do they need to do and what things would kind of muddy up the waters for them that they might not be experts in. So we give our clients full editor access or limited access depending on their goals and the permissions they need. And we have two key groups of clients. We have managed clients and we have DIY clients. Our managed clients are typically going to have a little bit less access. If they ever want more access, happy to grant it to them. But they are contacting us, or they're talking to us in our monthly touch bases and letting us know, hey, we need this done on the website. Can you please accomplish this? So they need more things like access to stats, maybe the basic editors, they can change words on the site. Then our DIY clients, we give them access to almost everything. And this is so they can make any changes that they want. And we're here for support. We more often than not let them know it's on a Duda site, so we can always provide them Duda help articles if they need anything like that, or hop on a call with them and walk them through whatever they're trying to accomplish. On the right, you can see a screenshot of a client's team member with like barely any permissions. And this is a team member that had a very specific role, and she was using an app called Babblik, which is a great integration, to create the Spanish version of the client's website. So she didn't need she didn't need stats. She didn't need the stats email. She doesn't need the content library. What she needs is app access and access to Babblik so that she can make that Spanish language page. The other thing, again, we're thinking about when we're launching our website and we're touching base is those results. What are the most important things that they're looking for? And we're making sure we're communicating those, either automated monthly emails from Duda or emails from Google Analytics summarizing their results and where everybody is coming from. And are we doing case studies now, or are we waiting until later? Should I roll through my case study?
Yeah, I think you should, Alex. Just go through it quickly.
Okay, got it. So in November, we acquired a company called Noble, and they were a nonprofit website company. They found us through the Duda Experts portal. And the reason that they teamed up with us is because we work with a lot of nonprofits and cause-based companies already. And when we took over, they had about 60, 65 clients. We were able to do this very efficiently with Duda's tools because Duda already has a domain transfer tool. They've already got stats and analytics. They've already got permissions and adding those customers or clients on the back-end tools. And we used all of the things that we talked about in the last few slides, scaled up our client communication, made sure that we had the proper cadence to inform clients about this change, inform them when the change was going to happen, move all of those websites to our dashboard, and then get in contact with them to talk about next steps. And we were able to leverage that and leverage the other couple dozen nonprofit clients that we work with to do a rebrand. And so we have a subsidiary company called Crowd for Causes. And actually, this is something that I came up with Brendan, who was in the last chat asking about verticalized industries. He gave me this idea. He works with insurance companies and he does really great. And I was like, man, we work with a lot of nonprofits. It would be great to focus on that. So this kind of fell into our lap. They found us from Duda Experts, and it's been a really nice transition and a really great opportunity for us as we move farther into this space.
Is that the only case study, Alex, or is there another one?
That's our case study. I could go into this a little bit more unless we want to let Tina hop on.
Yeah, let's let Tina hop on.
Great.
Alex, thank you so much for sharing. Rapid fire Q&A before we move on to Tina, okay? First of all, when you were presenting, I was asking some questions in my head. First of all, I love that you're transparent about using Duda with your clients. We do the same thing. I think that's really critical. Just curious, what is your team size?
So we have 4 full-time team members, and then we have a handful of part-time and contract-based people. So small team, but we accomplish a lot in a day. As we scale, I imagine we'll get some more team members, but yeah, we've got a small team for right now.
And how long have you been doing the 4-day work week? I think that's very interesting. I would never do it, but I'm curious. How long you've been doing it.
And frankly, I don't really get to do it either, but the team has been doing it since I've had employees. So since 2019, we've been doing that. And in Colorado, at a lot of agencies, it just seems like not a lot is getting done on Fridays. So I was like, let's just give them it off officially. And then it's a perk as opposed to something I need to worry about every Friday. It's
interesting. I'm going to think about that a little bit more. Biz Consulting Group asked, I think it's appropriate that you answer this. When you provide website access to a client, does that include the ability for them to add content to the website, like pages and posts?
When we need to. So for our DIY clients, they always have that access. For our managed clients, we prefer to add pages for them. And that's because instead of them coming back to us and saying, hey, could you fix this? We can get it right from the first time and make sure the SEO is on point, the visual and word-based storytelling is on point. So pretty much all of our clients have the access to do this, but we really like to do it for them when possible.
Makes sense. All right, Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Tina. So Tina is the COO of WebSmart. She's based in Germany, and she's going to be talking to us today about core systems enabling consistent high-volume website launches. Tina, how are you doing today?
Better now. After I finished dealing with all the technical issues, was kind of stressing now, so I'm hoping to calm down now. It's in the evening. We are from Germany, so it's 8:40 now p.m., not a.m. Yes.
All right. Well, welcome.
Good that I'm on the show now and I'm working. It's working.
All right. Awesome. Well, while it's working, go ahead and present to the audience about your core systems.
Yes. Give me a second.
While you're doing that, Haz A asked, do you transfer the site's ownership to the client? Alex, that's a question for you.
More often than not, we keep them in our dashboard. If the client wants it transferred to them, we do. And Duda provides that really easy website transfer link to do that. But most of our clients are within our dashboard.
Yes. Tina, you ready to go?
I am ready to go. The best that I can.
All right.
Oh, shit. This one. Yes. I want to talk about productivity systems that actually work. We've been in the business for plus 10 years now, so we made some things. We try to work on some things now. And what I wanted to show you some keys to our productivity system is how to save time, because we have to manage 5,000 websites in our daily business and create 100 to 150 new websites every month. So big, heavy load that we have to work with. How to take the pressure off the customer. I think some things were already said by Alex, the part that I heard. And how to make mistakes the right way. So for us, how we save time with a combination of our CRM plus Duda plus AI. We are working with Duda as well. Automation is key. Every task, even if it takes only 5 minutes, should be automated if possible. So for 100 websites, if you think about 5 minutes, it's 500 minutes. This is more than a workday every month that you're losing if you couldn't automate it. So this is really the key to work. We migrated 3,000 websites in 6 months. This was only possible with automation and an amazing workforce of our employees in the back end. There's another webinar about this, so I won't go into detail with this one. And Also, why automation is key, copy paste is really, really boring. So keep all the stuff of copy paste off the hands of our people, and scratch your own itch, because copy paste is one of the most important itches. What bothers you the most, it makes working so much more satisfying. So this is really one key element of working and how to save time. With this in place, we were able at WebSmart, and we are only at the beginning of this process. We already saved around 15% of time with automation, and we are looking towards 40% in the current state of possibilities, and that we want to adapt in our daily business. So it's really something we're really looking forward to. We only have limited resources to work on this, but with my wonderful colleague Luisa and her team, I think 40% is really possible. And what helped us doing that and see the future for us is breaking down the process into steps. See where we can automate also the smaller parts, and have everything in place, and be open-minded to adapt new possibilities, especially for automation, new API calls, new AI prompts that we can use to automate our processes, but not lose the human touch on our websites. That's why we don't want to be 100% time saving, but 40% would be really, really great. Next point, how to take the pressure off the customer. This is the huge bottleneck. I think the description of our session was to avoid bottlenecks. At the beginning in 2014, the customer had to deliver everything. We received crappy photos made with the early versions of smartphones, or printed out and scanned photos. This was my best image that I put on a website. We received texts containing no keywords. But back in 2014, this was absolutely fine to have a website, and it was responsive, was major. But now, closing this bottleneck, getting into real business, we have a 45-minute call to get the main facts and expectations of the customer. The customer can deliver photos, they can deliver key facts about the business. But after this 45-minute call, we take off to deliver a solid modern website within 4 weeks. So the customer really knows what they are expecting from us. And then after we delivered the draft, we have another 30-minute call to get the customer's approval. We also use side comments on our websites for internal processes, but also for customers' feedback. People working in agencies know how customers react on websites, how they try to describe where they want to change something. I think everybody can relate. And with the side comment, it made everything so much easier for us. So it's really something that worked really well for us. And I promised I will show you how to make mistakes. We are the land of poets and thinkers in Germany. So I brought a quote of Theodor Fontane. If you stop making mistakes, you will stop learning. He was a German writer, journalist, critic. So what I want to give you is, don't be afraid to try new things. Review your processes all the time. Limit the time, review, and keep the mistakes in the back of your head. Every mistake can be made, but not twice. And also one thing to avoid mistakes and to improve your processes is to present your process to new employees, let them learn, and then ask for their feedback, because they have a fresh mind. They didn't do this for years and years. Not everything will work, but some things will make a huge difference. Yeah.
All right. Is that the rest of the presentation?
This is the end of the presentation.
All right. So I think SEO Charity said, if you stop making mistakes, you probably are dead. And that's an interesting way to look at it. So Tina, real quick, couple quick questions while you were presenting that information. What is your team size?
All in all, in WebSmart, we are around 50 people. Working in the website part, we have around 40 people working there.
So 40
By
people
now.
are working. What was that?
By now, when I started at WebSmart, we were 6.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So somebody asked the question, and this is always going to come up when you start talking about 150 sites a month.
Yeah.
What is the average price that you're pricing these businesses if you're making 150 websites per month?
The average price for creating a new website would be around 1,500 euros.
Gotcha. And I'm just curious from a deliverability standpoint, because if we tried to deliver 150 websites, we wouldn't be able to do it. What exactly are you delivering? Like, get specific. How many pages? What is the sitemap? How big is the sitemap? How long does it take to get the site live? Tell us a little bit about the specifics of what's included in that.
So the customer gets the website, depending on the product they bought. It's from 1-page website, 5 pages, 10, 15. I think this is the average. So 8 to 10 pages are the average amount of sizes. And then they get a website with texts included. So even if they provide text, we rework it, make it SEO. Work on SEO for this. We have great images that we use on their website. So even if they provide images, we can use them. But if the quality isn't good, the hero image should have a great quality to have a great first impression. So this is what we deliver for them, what we have for them. Because we saw back then that it didn't work with the customer's input. And we add the content that the customer provides. And if the customer wants to have their own content on their website, we can do that. But we are the experts on building websites that work. So we want to push them in the right direction to have a website that they are happy with in the end. And normally, for creating a website, we have an average time from the first call to the first draft of 4 weeks. 4 to 5 weeks, and then after that it depends on the client. So if they are really fast on reacting on their draft, it takes about another week. We have some customers from 2014 who still didn't get the approval from. So this is my subdomain customer that I always present to the new employees. He's haven't had the chance to look at their website for 11 years now.
Wow. Now, you mentioned something really interesting before where I heard stop selling and start servicing. Your client doesn't know what they want yet. And so your responsibility is to tell them that. I'm very curious. After 5,000 websites, Sandy's done, I'm sure, thousands of projects too. So based on her previous experience at some of the different firms that she's worked for and all the agencies she works with at Vendasta. And Alex has done multitude of websites as well. I'd like to go around the room and challenge you guys. Based on all of the projects that you've worked on, what is the number one piece of advice that you think has been most effective in delivering a website project? Tina, we'll start with you.
Make it personal and don't overload.
Okay. When you say overload, what do you mean by that?
Don't try to put everything on your website, every element, every service, every few fraction of what you are doing, but focus on your USPs, what you are really good at, what you do want to do, because they can do crappy work for a little money, or they can do the stuff that they like and get a lot of money for it. So this is really what you should focus on.
All right, Sandy, you want to answer that?
Sure. I think our bottlenecks have been in the touch points back to the client. So we're trying to eliminate as many touch points as possible. And instead of asking for permission to do something, we're using the assumptive close now more than not, and trusting in our expertise. And Tina, you had a slide on it. Alex, you referenced this too, that we're the experts in our area. They're the experts in their area. And so often, and if they need to make changes, obviously, but don't hold back the going live and changing the 4 weeks into the hours, and not be waiting for that. That would be that's what we're trying to do. We aren't there, we're trying.
That's excellent advice. Alex.
Yeah, I think my piece of advice would be that the websites we're building, they're not for our clients. They're for our clients' customers. So making sure that we think about who the people are that are going to be accessing the website and how they expect to take in that information. I think that is really important for driving the actions that we want to see on websites.
What a mindset shift that is for most people, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're on the consumer side, you're not on the client side. It's very interesting. We got a couple questions here. The first question is, and I think, Tina, this one is for you. Biz Consulting Group asks, how do you typically structure pricing for website expansion? So let's say a client got a 5-page website with you, and now they want to expand it to 20 pages, and they want to make it a little bit more complex. How do you handle that pricing scope?
If they don't change the design, we just add the additional pages and let them pay for the additional pages and rework the website in this case.
Is there a rate that you've found that clients are most comfortable paying for adding those kinds of pages?
We charge them around 150 euros for an additional site. So if they are in our lower products, we would just upgrade them to the more higher product. And then if they reach the final goal of 20 pages and they want more, they will be then we will add extra pages one by one.
How about yourself, Alex? How would you handle that situation?
So for our managed clients, that's kind of included in what we do. So they're paying us a monthly retainer to make updates. So we're happy to just make a new page. For DIY clients or clients that are not on a plan, typically we'll do a hourly rate based proposal for them, get them to sign off and build it. But a new page, depending on the complexity, could be $100, could be more than that, but typically around the $100 range, just because it's not a huge amount of time and effort.
Now we got another question. This is from Matt S. There's the euro conversion. We have a question from Matt S. And he's asking, what is your road to acquire customers? Now we're getting close to the hour mark. So let's each answer this. And from there, we can just do a rapid fire answer for the questions that are coming up. And then this way, all of us can have our input. So Tina, we'll start with you.
We don't have our own sales reps because we're working with directories in Germany and they have their sales reps. So they worked with their clients for years and years, and now they've got a new product on hand and they can sell the website as well.
So that's a white label relationship you have with the directories?
Yeah.
So Sandy, when you answer this question, think of your client, the agencies you work with.
In terms of them getting more clients or us getting more agencies?
Them getting more clients.
Yeah, we actually have been encouraging them to use their same practices that they're selling for their own business, including things like AI receptionist and website capabilities, et cetera, and using, dog fooding for them.
Makes complete sense. The old mechanic situation where their car is never as great as their customers' cars.
The other thing I'd say, I'll just add one point, is we're finding it more effective for the agencies to talk about painkillers in today's economy instead of vitamins. So their solutions should be solving current problems, not nice to have, but like, how do I survive and find the solutions that are solving for pain and not just, oh, great, sexy, but not necessary.
So removing bloat.
Yeah.
Alex?
Referrals is big. Happy client referrals is our biggest source of new business. I do a lot of networking, both locally and at conferences and things like that. And then really, I think that doing good work speaks for itself, and people will look at their competitors and see who did that for them. And we've gotten a lot of website business from people who saw one of the sites that we did and wanted something similar.
Makes complete sense. All right, guys. Well, Tina, Sandy, and Alex, thank you guys so much for joining us on the second session of DudaCon 2025. Stay in here because we're going to be talking about designing for impact and conversion with a real client website.
Thanks,
Thank you.